Why lifting weights will always be better than running for fat loss. Let's dive in. So important before we go is that I'm going to give you a proof promise plan. I'm going to basically structure everything that you need to know throughout this video to understand what you're getting, how to put it into practice, and what to do after you finish the video. Every single one of my clients who's dropped 5, 10, even 20 kg didn't have to do it without running. They did it with resistance training, lifting weights, and building muscle. And if you don't know me, I'll explain who I am, but I want to structure the video first. If you want to lose fat and keep it off, this video will show you why lifting weights will always beat running and how to structure your training for long-term fat loss. The common thing I see is so many people, when they instantly go into a fat loss period or want to lose some weight or do anything, they always feel like they need to move more. They always feel like I need to run, I need to move, I need to become a smaller version of myself. And that is true. But if you're building muscle on top of that, you don't only become a smaller version of yourself, but you become a more leaner, a more jacked version for a lighter weight as well. But this is everything you're going to learn in today's video. Is we're going to cover why cardio alone fails for most people. I would say 99% of people. What makes resistance training a fat loss multiplier. The exact training approach I give to my clients. How to stop wasting time with workouts that don't move the needle. So quite a lot. And another thing, if my head blocks the screen, it doesn't really matter because it is just a prompt for me. And the information that I'm actually saying compared to the information on the slides is a big difference. But the only reason I put fails for most people is because so many people always refer back to the transformations that lose a crazy amount of weight. The people that were really, really obese that only changed their diet and only maybe went for a walk or something and lost loads of weight, but they just look like a very small version of themselves, but they don't look any better, if that makes sense. Who am I actually to speak on this topic? Like I said, I'm kind of phasing into the background at the moment, but my name is Ryan. If you don't know me, first time clicking on the channel, I help everyday guys, especially those who felt stuck in terms of losing weight, gaining muscle, and finally feel proud of what they see in the mirror. The people I kind of help is the ones that feel average or feel like they phase in the background or they feel like almost like an NPC, like a side character in someone else's movie. Because I was that. I felt like I never knew how to take control of my life. I felt like I was always there to better everyone else's. And obviously the gym change that for me. You're going to see my transformation in the next slide, but I used to think running was the answer too. But when I started lifting consistently, my physique changed permanently, like forever. And I don't think I'm ever going to go back to that point. Well, I hope not, but you never really know. But now I teach others how to do the same inside of my one-to-one coaching, but also through YouTube videos and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else social media that you might consume. Like I said, here's my transformation. I can move my head, but I don't think I'm blocking it. I think we're good. We have skinny me on the left who played a lot of football. So didn't do running as such, but I did running to play football, of course. And this is me. I haven't done cardio in probably, I don't even know, a decent amount of time. Anyway, that was me last December for my photo shoot. Of course, lighting is going to come into play, of course. Angles, the oil, pump, all of that comes into play, of course. But it's just an example of the difference you can make on your journey as well. So what actually is the problem with running for fat loss? Of course, it will get you results, there's no doubt. But what is the problem? And why am I telling you to avoid it? The problem is it burns calories but doesn't build muscle. What do I mean by that? So your body will naturally be burning calories, but even if you are eating more calories than your body is burning, you will still stay at the same weight or even gain. Of course, burning extra calories is going to make it easier for you to lose if you're eating the same amount every single day. That just makes sense. But if you are not building muscle, it makes it a lot more difficult as your body naturally has no... Your body has no... it doesn't give anything fuel because when you are losing weight, you are not using your calories for anything except fat. And when you're losing fat, it's hard. So when you have muscle, the calories that you are eating are using that to restore the muscle. And obviously, the more muscle you have, the easier it will be, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I don't know why it took me so long to get there, but of course, easy to overestimate and underestimate intake. Well, overestimate burn and underestimate intake. I think there's a crazy amount of, I think it's probably like 30 to 40% of people that underestimate their intake. They think they're eating significantly lower than they are because they're obviously not tracking sources, they're not tracking additional calories, that they're just kind of going to the fridge and eating. They're not tracking that. They're obviously serving size as well, and overestimating burn. Of course, you have fitness trackers like a Whoop or Apple Watch or anything like that that actually tracks it. They usually overestimate it no matter how good the technology is. It doesn't reshape your physique. It only makes you look smaller. That's what I said as well. Is that you'll notice so many people with that fat loss transformation is that they have not built any muscle, and they actually in fact lose muscle. Like, they don't look as strong as they did, of course, because they're heavier, but they don't actively have that muscle that they had before poking through their fat. Running also causes high stress and joint risk over time. Like, if you're constantly running every single day with no rest, of course, I mean, anything, you're going to get high stress and joint risk, like if you're doing it every single day. But that will just absolutely ruin your knees, especially if you are heavier and you're starting running and it's kind of something that you're new to doing. Like, if you're a heavy guy like me, I'm, I think, 80 kg at the moment, even heavier, your knees are not going to be able to handle that impact every single time you go for a run, compared to lifting, where you're going to be maybe sat on a machine, maybe pressing some dumbbells, maybe moving a barbell. Like, you are not using your leg strength to lift the weights, unless obviously you're doing legs, of course, but then you build that up over time. Running can be part of the plan, but it can't be the plan. So I'm not saying to stop running if you're doing it now. The only thing is, if you are relying solely on running to lose fat, you are causing a problem for yourself, because actively you will be losing weight, but you are not losing fat. You are getting smaller, and by building muscle, having more muscle means you have less fat overall, if that makes sense. Your body fat percentage drops down, and this is why lifting is superior to running. Like I said, lifting is obviously going to help you build lean muscle, which is going to raise your metabolism, which means you can eat more, where you can eat the same amount of calories, but those calories are instead going to be used for your muscle mass instead of your fat. So you could be eating the same amount of calories when you were fat, but since you have more muscle now, muscle burns more than fat, just because it takes more to actively use the calories. So by eating the same amount as your fat compared to a higher body fat percentage, you will become noticeably leaner, even though you're eating loads still. Preserve strength while cutting calories. So that's pretty normal, is that when you are cutting calories, you are eating less, you're going to be weaker, you're going to be slower, you're going to be more tired, because you are losing your muscle. So you need to be reserving your strength as much as you can on that cut, because muscle is I think it's the biggest predictor of longevity in life. So in terms of what predicts you to live the longest and the healthiest life, is how much muscle mass you actually have. Because if you're 70 or 80 and you no longer have muscle mass in your arms or your legs, when you sit down in a chair, it's going to be extremely difficult to stand back up without anyone helping you get back up with that support. You're also going to have better hormone response. So testosterone, for example, is heavily linked with muscle mass. I think the higher testosterone level you have, the easier it is the easier it is to obviously hold muscle mass and overall have better kind of like libido scores and all that other stuff. I don't want to go into the sneaky stuff. And growth hormone as well. So I think I'm going to assume that's what GH stands for. I mean, I put that in the slide and I've forgotten. But I don't know. We'll move on. It's fine. Improves body composition. You look lean and not skinny. Pretty simple there. No one really wants to look skinny unless you are a feminine woman or looking to be a model. You want to look lean. You want to look like you have muscle mass. You don't want to look like you don't lift. That's not what we want to be here for. Of course, people are like, oh, I want to get toned, but not too big. It's like, come on now. Like, would your life be better or worse if you were too big? Like, or had too much muscle mass? Like, let's be honest here. Keeps fat off longer term, which again, more muscle mass you have longer term, the easier it is to stay at a leaner body fat percentage. Just, it is normal. And muscle is metabolic currency. My final little line here at the bottom. The more you have, the easier fat loss becomes. So the longer you are in the gym lifting weights, the stronger you get over time, the less fat you're going to have over a certain amount of time. And it allows you to be at certain heavier weights that maybe you look better at heavier weights. So I'm sitting at 80 kg, but if I was sitting at 80 kg, for example, in that last photo, with not as much muscle mass as I do now, I would look significantly different and probably significantly fatter as well. So that's the importance of obviously training hard. But how to actually structure this, you're training for fat loss, and this is what I do for me and my clients when we get them in a fat loss period. Of course, this is going to be a very basic plan in terms of this just getting modeled for the individual, but this is kind of how it goes. So it'd be about 3 to 4 times a week, either full body or upper lower split, or if they could do 5 sessions, it would be a push pull legs, then like a chest back, then arms maybe. And then if they could maybe do 6 days or 5 days, like they would add a leg day. It just depends. But I mean, everyone says this, you need to be focusing on compound lifts, is that when you're starting off, you do not care about how big your biceps are or your triceps or your side delt. Like, you know, these really niche muscles. You just want to be building the big muscles that build foundational strength. So squat, hinge, press, row. I wouldn't include deadlifts. I personally don't like them, but that is obviously a great movement to build full body strength. I just feel like my lower back doesn't like it, so I don't do them. But that's the way you need to be training. Of course, after about 3 to 6 months, when you are consistent with it, and I mean consistent, then you can start introducing a little bit more of the niche bodybuilding split, because then you can start refining the muscles that aren't as large as other ones, if that makes sense. Rep range doesn't really matter. You can obviously build rep range in any sort. You can build muscle in any rep range. I always like 8 to 12. I would say max 17 because of hitting failure. If you want to do lighter reps with slower eccentric, so like the eccentric is when you are controlling the weight kind of down. So let's say I'm curling here with my right hand, and then slow that bit on the back is the eccentric, and this is the concentric. So you want to have that initial positive curling movement. You can have that as quick as you want, but that initial burn of the weight kind of going back down, being held back by gravity, you want that to be as slow as possible, or 2 to 3 seconds, so you can hit failure in that rep range without causing any sort of injuries too. And I'm not saying not to do cardio, but I would say want to do cardio sessions for heart health and not fat loss. This would not be running too. Find a sport, football, squash, tennis, volleyball, like badminton, just anything where you can do for about an hour, get the heart rate up. The thing with running as well, if you're going for a continuous run, you're not getting your heart rate up and down like you normally would, but you're actually going to burn more calories if you do that. Running, you're just at a continuous heart rate for 20, 30 minutes, however long you're running. So personally, I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather do something where you're getting in some rest, doing some high intensity activities, so like football, squash. Squash is really good for that because you get a rest, then you're in a box for 20, 30 minutes, then you rest again, and it's brutal. But prioritize progressive overload. If you don't know what that is, that's basically getting stronger week from week by either adding weights or reps. That's why it's a rep range, because let's say you hit 8 or 9 reps. That means you want to, for your next set or your next workout, you want to hit 11 or 12 reps. And you've increased your reps, hit the higher part of the rep range, so you can increase the weight and then hit 8 or 9 reps again. And then just repeat that, see, until you get to your desired strength, which I don't think there's a desired strength, but yeah, don't chase the burn. You want to be chasing the results. So, like I said, you don't want to stop as it starts to burn your arms or start to burn your muscles. You want to push past that, because the whole part of it is the burn is basically telling you that your body is doing something that is uncomfortable with, or it's pushing past its limits. And that basically means that when you go into the gym next time, that desired exercise you just did or the weight you just did is now in your comfort zone, and now you can push past your limits again to a different weight, if that makes sense. Sorry, I've just clicked off. Here we go. So what action actually looks like: starting a plan, even if it's basic; logging your food for the first time, even if it's messy; booking a call and getting help; committing to 30 days of consistency before judging results. So many people start the gym or start lifting weights and they're like, oh, I've been working out for 30 days and I don't see a difference, or I'm just going to go to running, I see better results. Like, people just do not. The thing is with your competition is that it's so easy to be in the top 10%, the top 1%. It's because people just quit so easy nowadays. With the amount of distractions in today's world, it is so easy to beat your competition. So please wait just 30 days. That's it. This is something you need to stop doing as well. Stop doing endless HIIT workouts, which is high intensity interval training, that don't build muscle. Again, that doesn't really include running. Running's continuous. But running every day, but eating like crap, like, again, just because you went for a run, you think, oh, I can reward myself for this nice treat now. But you were just eliminating all the calories you just burned. And you are just going to stay at the same weight because you burn the calories during the run, but ate it back anyway, so nothing changes there. Switching programs every week, thinking cardio equals fat loss and lifting equals bulking. You will not get bulky if you lift weights. Please stop saying that, it's annoying. Because even if you are on steroids and you are lifting weights, you could still look like you haven't lifted a weight in your entire life. It doesn't make sense to me, and I hate when people say it. But my final message for today is that running is a tool, but lifting is the foundation. Every single person you've seen in shape, who does swimming, who does running, who does javelin throwing, whatever it is, they have lifted weights. They have done some sort of resistant training. Maybe it's with a band, maybe it's with a kettlebell, maybe it's with a machine. They built the physique by lifting and then went into their desired sport or combat sport. Even like every fighter, everyone says like, oh, I want to have the fighter physique. You need to be lifting to build that foundation, and then you can kind of go into your desired sport. If you want to lose fat and keep it off and look good doing it, resistance training has to be the priority. So no more running more than you lift. You need to be lifting more than you run. I don't care what your goals are. I don't care what you do. Lifting has to be the priority now. And if you want this processed, there, I've obviously typo. If you want this process streamlined, then you're going to enjoy these next slides. I do this at the end of the video, every single one. You have 3 choices. Is that you could either do nothing, click off the video, and wish things were different and stay stuck. You could try it alone for number 2. Try piece together all the tips from all my YouTube videos that you've maybe watched or Instagram reels that you've ever seen. Or my final message is that you need help and I need customers, so why not work with me? You can follow a proven system with direct coaching, accountability, and support to make your results inevitable. If you're ready to actually make a change, then book a free call using the link below. The reason I say I need customers is because it's my dream. It's my dream to be a full-time, well, I'm technically not full-time online coach now, but it's to make a successful living out of it and to enjoy my life and to make the world a healthier place. Like I say in my Instagram bio, my YouTube, all of that is that if I can just change one person's life by educating them, either through one-to-one VIP or free stuff, maybe somebody takes a couple free tips and they say that I've changed their life with them, that makes my day every single time. Makes my week, makes my month, makes my whole year. So if you enjoyed this one, then the video that's just popped above my head, you'll probably enjoy that one as well, because that video is recommended by YouTube and the algorithm's pretty smart. So if you enjoyed this one, you're probably going to enjoy this one above my head too. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in that video.